Have you ever stood silently in the bathroom on a quiet Saturday morning, looking down at the strands of hair left on the comb and feeling your heart tighten? That feeling, I understand, it's not just about the hair strands. It's the fear that time is taking away your radiance and confidence. I am Alan. This morning, while sitting drinking coffee on the porch and watching the red oak leaves falling onto the backyard as autumn arrives, I suddenly thought about change. Susan, a neighbor friend of mine, also worried just like you when she saw her hair part getting wider every day. She feared that her most beautiful days were gone forever. But I'm here to tell you a warm truth. Don't give up hope yet. What you see in the mirror isn't the end, but perhaps just a hibernation period for the hair follicles. Are you curious to know how to wake them up, not with scary prescriptions, but by fertilizing your body garden the right way? Brew a hot cup of tea and sit down here with me. We'll together regain vitality for your hair, starting from the simplest things right in the kitchen. Imagine your hair like tulip flowers in the home garden. There are times they bloom brilliantly under the sun, but also times the bulbs need quiet rest underground to prepare for a new spring. Yesterday afternoon, while busy tending the flower bed in the backyard and looking at the buds waiting for the moment to bloom, I suddenly realized that we are often too harsh on ourselves. We expect our hair to always bloom year-round, forgetting that, like other living beings, hair also needs its own resting cycle. Do you know what percentage of your hair is sleeping right now? In fact, on a healthy scalp, about 85% of hair is in the spring phase, meaning it's growing and lengthening, while the rest is preparing to rest or fall out to make way for new strands. But what happens when hair's winter lasts too long? My neighbor friend Linda, 62 years old, once confided in me during an afternoon tea that my hair seems lazier than before, it won't grow longer even though I haven't cut it for a long time. Linda felt like her body was betraying her, but the truth is much gentler. When we pass the age of 50, the hair follicles, those tiny factories producing hair, start to age. The growth phase, anagen, shortens, and the resting phase, telogen, lengthens. The hair strands thus grow slower and thinner. This phenomenon is called follicle miniaturization. Don't worry, this isn't the end. It's just a reminder that your garden needs a more special kind of nutrition to awaken the sleeping sprouts. If we provide the right materials, we can completely extend that spring. So how to build a solid frame to help hair follicles anchor and grow strongly again? The answer lies in a component that you've probably seen a lot on shelves at Costco or in beauty magazines, but you might not fully understand its power yet. If you want to know the secret about this scaffolding supporting hair, remember to subscribe to the channel right now so you don't miss the next video. We'll together explore the golden key to revive thickness for your hair right after this. Back when I was a child, I remember my grandmother simmering bone broth all day on the stove. She always said that thick soup helps strong bones, but now science tells us the real secret in her soup pot is a wonderful natural source of collagen. This reminds me of meeting Nancy, a 55-year-old friend of mine, at Costco last week. She stood hesitating in front of the supplement counter, holding a large box of collagen powder, bulk size, and sighing. Nancy confessed to me that she felt skeptical. Will this white powder really help my hair thicken again, or is it just an expensive trend? Perhaps you've had the exact same thought when standing in front of the endless shelves of beauty products. The truth is, collagen isn't just a marketing buzzword. Imagine collagen like the scaffolding supporting your scalp structure, where the hair follicles reside. When we pass the age of 50, this scaffolding weakens, making hair roots loose, especially type 1. Collagen makes up the majority in the body and is extremely important for skin and bones. The hydrolyzed collagen that Nancy is holding is actually small-cut protein chains, helping women's bodies at our age absorb much easier than raw collagen. When taken into the body, they provide essential amino acids like glycine and proline, exactly the bricks to build keratin for your hair. However, there's a small detail that Nancy and many people often overlook when buying collagen. Do you know that no matter how much collagen you take, it can become meaningless without an important guide? That's vitamin C. Without vitamin C, the collagen synthesis process will stall. So, next time you mix a spoon of collagen powder into your morning smoothie, remember to add a bit of orange or strawberries. Collagen provides the bricks to build hair, but to transport those bricks to the right place, we need trucks carrying oxygen continuously in the bloodstream. And unfortunately, sometimes those trucks run out of fuel without us knowing. That's the story about fatigue in hair that I'll share with you right after this. If collagen is the solid bricks building hair structure as we just discussed, then what happens if there's no one to transport those bricks to the construction site? This question immediately reminds me of Brenda, my 53-year-old neighbor friend. Brenda is a very disciplined woman. She walks every morning with her group of friends and always prides herself on lunches of just chicken breast salad to maintain shape. But lately, I've seen her often having to stop to catch her breath midway while walking. And during one tea visit, she confessed that her hair is falling out at an alarming rate. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, dieting, exercising, but your body, and especially your hair, reacts the opposite? For Brenda, and perhaps you too, the culprit might be iron deficiency. Imagine your hair follicle like a factory operating 24/7. If iron is the trucks carrying oxygen to run the machines, then when iron is lacking, that factory is forced to close. Our blood needs iron to create hemoglobin, the protein helping red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body. When the oxygen supply is deficient, your intelligent body will prioritize oxygen for the heart and lungs, abandoning less important organs like hair, making them weak and prone to breakage. Many women in their 50s, like Brenda, often cut back on red meat due to cholesterol concerns, but accidentally eliminate the most absorbable heme-iron source. You don't need to eat steak every day, but try adding to your menu things like oysters, beans, or spinach. And here's a small tip I often remind Brenda: drink with a glass of orange juice, because vitamin C is the best friend helping the body absorb iron more effectively. However, before you rush to the pharmacy to buy an iron supplement bottle, be careful. Self-supplementing can be harmful if not done correctly. And speaking of self-medication, there's another vitamin being advertised rampantly as a hair growth miracle that I see everywhere on shelves at Costco or Walgreens. Are you taking it every morning? Sit still there, because what I'm about to reveal about it in the next part might make you startled about the risks few warn about. Have you ever done something good for yourself, but the result makes your heart skip a beat? Speaking of nutrient deficiencies we just discussed in the previous part, I suddenly remember those times standing hesitating in front of the vitamin shelf at Walgreens or CVS. Do you feel overwhelmed? Rows of gummies promising hair, skin, and nails, glittering invitingly. We often think, adding a bit of vitamin can't hurt, right? But there's a small secret about this popular supplement bottle that I need you to know right now to protect yourself. I want to tell you about Mrs. Margaret, my very lovely 65-year-old neighbor. Margaret was very excited preparing for her granddaughter's summer wedding, so she started regularly taking high-dose biotin, hoping her hair would thicken. Everything was fine until the routine health checkup. The doctor called with a worried voice, reporting that her thyroid indicators had a serious problem. Margaret lost sleep and appetite, fearing she had a terminal illness. But do you know? Her thyroid was completely normal. The hidden troublemaker was the biotin bottle she took every morning. Science has proven that biotin, vitamin B7, is very necessary, but when we take high doses into the body from supplements, it can interfere with blood test results. It doesn't harm your body, but it fools the testing machines, especially indicators about thyroid and troponin, an important sign for diagnosing cardiovascular health. This is extremely important for women at our age, when monitoring cardiovascular and endocrine is top priority. So what should we do? Don't throw away that vitamin bottle yet. My advice is very simple and full of hope. Keep caring for yourself, but be smart. If you have a blood test schedule, just stop taking biotin about 2 to 3 days before, so the results are accurate. Tell your doctor, I'm taking biotin for hair care. That transparency will help you avoid unnecessary worries like Mrs. Margaret. If this helped, comment, I'm ready for healthier hair, so I know you're listening. But if biotin isn't the only miracle, and sometimes causes trouble for tests, then what is the real protector helping fight against hair follicle aging that few know about? The answer lies in a component I call the anti-rust weapon for hair, and I bet you haven't heard much about it. Let's explore right after this. Have you ever noticed the kid's old bicycle forgotten in the backyard through so many rainy and sunny seasons? The spotted rust starts appearing, corroding the once sturdy frame. Actually, the cells in our body, and especially hair follicles, get rusted just like that. We call it oxidation, a silent enemy that few notice when standing in front of the mirror brushing hair every morning. This reminds me of Karen, my 59-year-old neighbor friend. Karen has a beautiful garden in Florida, and she can spend the whole day outdoors under the harsh southern sun tending to each rosebush. She's very meticulous, always applying thick sunscreen for her facial skin, but completely forgetting her hair under the thin baseball cap. Gradually, Karen complained to me that her hair is dry, breaking, and feels like dry grass after a sweltering summer. She didn't know that sunlight and age are creating free radicals attacking her very hair production factory. If biotin, we just talked about in the previous part, is like an exterior painter, then what Karen really needs is a solid protective layer against rust from the core. That's when I want to introduce you to a silent but extremely powerful hero in the vitamin E family with a slightly strange name, Tocotrienols. Do you know that not all vitamin E is the same? Most synthetic vitamin E outside pharmacies only contain tocopherol. But recent scientific studies have shown that the sibling tocotrienol is truly the mighty warrior protecting hair follicles from aging thanks to its superior antioxidant ability. A study on volunteers with hair loss showed an astonishing result that I bet you'll want to hear. After 8 months supplementing tocotrienol, their hair amount increased up to 34.5% compared to the non-using group. Imagine your hair thickening by more than a third. That's not just a number, that's the revival of confidence. Tocotrienol acts like a shield, preventing the rusting process of hair follicle cell membranes, helping them healthy again to continue their work. You can find this precious nutrient in palm oil or rice bran. However, while we're busy shielding hair from sunlight and natural aging, there's another invisible enemy, much more dangerous, silently attacking from inside your very home and busy life. It comes from the nameless worries that I believe every woman at our age is carrying. We just talked about external environmental impacts rusting hair, but sometimes the biggest storm comes from inside your mind. There are days you feel exhausted, just wanting to lie on the sofa after a busy week preparing for Thanksgiving or worrying for children and grandchildren, and not wanting to do anything, right? Your hair follicles sometimes feel exactly like that. I remember Diane, an old friend in my book club. Last year was a year full of upheaval for her, bustling, organizing her daughter's wedding, while running back and forth caring for her sick elderly mother. She's typical of the sandwich generation many of us women are carrying. Diane bravely got through it all, but about 3 months later, when everything was smooth and she thought she could breathe a sigh of relief, her hair started falling out. Every hair wash was a shock when she saw an abnormal amount of hair flowing with the water. She called me, her voice trembling, fearing her health had a serious problem. But the truth is much gentler. It's the body's whisper saying, I need rest. When you're anxious, the body produces the hormone cortisol. This substance is like an emergency command, pushing the happily growing hair follicles to hastily enter the resting phase, telogen, earlier than expected. And the strange thing about our body is hair doesn't fall out immediately. It lies dormant there for about 3 months, then leaves when new hair strands start budding to push it out. That's why Diane saw hair loss after the life storm had passed. This phenomenon is called Telogen effluvium, and the best news is it's only temporary. When your mind is peaceful again, those hair follicles will awaken. Have you ever wondered if there's any daily habit seemingly harmless but silently damaging those already fragile hair strands? Sometimes the way we style to beautify is accidentally hurting those friends without us knowing. Besides the invisible pressures from life we just shared, sometimes the way we pamper our hair accidentally damages it. Do you hear the faint sizzle when using a curling iron in the morning? Or the slight tight feeling on the scalp when tying a high ponytail to look younger when going to the supermarket? That's really the hair's whisper crying for help. I remember Patricia, a 60-year-old friend living in the neighboring neighborhood. She's the type of woman who always appears neat, with beautifully voluminous hair, like the elegant ladies we often see in 80s magazines. Patricia maintains the habit of using hot rollers every morning and backcombing for decades to create volume. But during one backyard chat, she sadly lifted her bangs and showed me that her hairline on the forehead is receding further back. Patricia thought it was due to age, but actually, it's a condition experts call traction alopecia, or hair loss due to traction, often happening when we tie hair too tight or use rollers too tense for a long time. Our hair follicles at this age are like rubber bands that have gone through many rainy and sunny seasons. If pulled too tight or burned too hot, they will lose elasticity and easily break. Abusing high temperatures from dryers or weekly salon visits for curling and blow drying is like exposing a thin silk shirt to the harsh Texas sun. The outer protective cuticle will be severely damaged. So, my sincere advice is to loosen your hand a bit. Use wide-toothed combs, let hair air dry when possible, and allow your hair to breathe. Are you curious how your hair will change if you stop using heat for just 2 weeks? Give it a try. If you like, comment, great hair, and if the video was even a little helpful, please like this video. Your small support means a lot to me. However, gentle external care alone isn't enough. Imagine you're repainting the house facade, but forgetting the foundation needs reinforcement. To make hair truly shiny and smooth from inside, we need a special natural moisturizer from the daily menu. The irony is many American women fear this component, thinking it causes weight gain, but actually your hair is craving it every day. Can you guess what this misunderstood hero is? We'll step into the kitchen and explore this nutritional secret right after this. Think about weekend afternoons when the complex aroma of grilled salmon spreads in the backyard, or simply the crunchy feeling of walnuts you sprinkle on your morning oatmeal bowl. We just talked about being gentle with hair from outside, but true softness starts from inside, from those delicious dishes. I remember Mary, 56 years old, an energetic woman I know in the charity club. Mary has strictly followed a low-fat diet for 20 years now, believing that's the only way to maintain shape. She looks great, but her hair tells a different story. Dry, dull, and lifeless. When I mentioned eating more fat, she looked at me as if I just suggested she skydiving without a parachute. But here's the truth you might never have heard. Our scalp craves good fats. Have you ever wondered why, despite using how many expensive hair conditioners, your hair still feels thirsty? That's because we're lacking the builders helping retain moisture from inside, namely omega-3. Studies have shown that these essential fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA found in deep-sea fish, play an important role in maintaining cell membrane health. When cell membranes are healthy, they retain water better, helping your scalp not dry and flaky, creating a fertile foundation for hair follicles to grow. Moreover, omega-3 is also a natural dose, helping soothe the silent micro-inflammations happening around hair follicles without us knowing. Our modern diet often excesses omega-6 from processed vegetable oils, but severely lacks omega-3, and this imbalance can put the body in a stressed state, directly affecting the hair growth cycle. So, next time you go shopping or stop at Costco, don't hesitate to choose a fresh salmon fillet, a bag of chia seeds, or avocados. Don't fear fat if it's good fat. See them as friends, silently nourishing the shine for your hair from deep inside. And when we've equipped enough knowledge from care, nutrition to spirit, what's waiting for you at the end of this journey? Let's sit together to summarize the full picture of hope in the final part. Through a long journey today, from secret worries in front of the mirror to deep understandings about the garden on your hair, I hope that now, the feeling of helplessness has been replaced by a hopeful action plan and understanding. Remember, like tending flower beds in the backyard or waiting for a new spring, hair needs unconditional patience and love. We've known how to build foundations solidly with collagen and protein, transport life source with iron, protect hair follicles from time's rust with vitamin E, and most importantly, learn to let go of everyday stresses for hair to rest. When you're gentle with yourself, your hair will also feel that peace. Don't be discouraged if you don't see changes tomorrow. Nature has its own rhythm. It may take 3 to 6 months for baby hairs to start growing strongly again. Next time meeting friends in the book club or morning exercise walks, share this hope with them. You're not alone on the journey to regain your radiance. Thank you for visiting the porch and sitting to chat with me. If you find these shares warm and helpful, gift me a subscribe button and don't forget to turn on notifications. Your support is the greatest motivation for me to continue these everyday health stories. Smile when looking in the mirror today because you're caring for yourself very well. See you again.